Oh my God, Moiraine. Like, this isn't even an oh my God, Moiraine, though. This is a oh my God show writers. Like, what the hell are you guys, like, what? Hello, and welcome back to Embodying Mystical Mac. I'm Mac, and if you are new here, welcome. Thank you for joining. If you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. Today, you may notice I'm wearing the same thing, aside from this little jewel here, as my Little Mermaid video, because that was before work and this is after work, and here we are, double feature day, whoop whoop. Okay. Yeah, thank you all so much for your patience as I get the Wheel of Time videos out to you guys. It's definitely been a transition with the new job and everything, so I really appreciate y'all's patience. I am gonna be releasing the next couple together, and then number 8 will soon follow. So keep your eyes peeled, make sure you have that bell clicked, all that good stuff. But for now, let's just dive into Wheel of Time Season 2, Episode 5. Okay, let's just get right in. So the confrontation between Suroth and Turok was interesting, but Turok's voice is a little weak for me. Not like his voice as in the actor playing his literal voice. For those of you that maybe haven't read the books and aren't fully aware because they haven't really truly talked about it clearly, the nobles of the Shan-Chan essentially are assigned people to be their voice, which is why you'll see that one Asian man talking on behalf of Turok a lot. Suroth has her own, but we've seen her exercise her actual voice a lot. Regardless, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like the actor, actual Turok. His voice was just a little bit weak for all of the presence that he's supposed to hold, but that's a minor nitpick. The nail chopping as punishment, obviously accurate and kind of interesting to see. The horn is finally revealed, so appreciated that. Like, the whole opening of the box was kind of cool. How he knew how to open it, why all that, I'm not sure. If there were clues to that, I didn't catch them. This next question was actually based on someone's comment that they said that there is a potential that Lanfear in that last episode maybe was using the one true power. So I just wrote, like, does Lanfear use the one true power? And that has yet to be seen, in my opinion, but maybe. We further assassinate Moiraine. Why did we have to kill that horse? Why did we have to kill that horse? To me, that just felt like a moment of gratuitous something. I don't even care what it was being gratuitous towards. It just felt gratuitous because obviously 2 seconds later, Lanfear ends up killing a man over a horse anyway. So if that was gonna happen, what was the point of all that? Moiraine would not do something like that needlessly, and she can't possibly think that Lanfear wouldn't have had another way to acquire that horse. You could argue that, oh, but maybe Lanfear wouldn't have been able to get one as fast, but she was. So then the question is no longer on like Moiraine as a character. Now the question has to go to the writers. Why would you have that moment where Moiraine kills that horse just so Lanfear can 2 seconds later like kill a whole ass man for a horse? Just didn't quite make sense to me. Really reminiscent of that contradictory writing that we've been seeing all season, and I was not a fan of it. Definitely don't love gratuitous violence or killing, and least of all, don't love it towards animals. Regardless though, I'm not even coming from that perspective here. I'm more so coming from, this was a useless scene. Why did we get this scene instead of getting something that would have actually benefited the story and moved something along? The guy who plays Perrin is starting to portray anger in a very one-note way, which to me is just getting a little bit, how do I say it? It's just getting a bit tired. Like, there's a multitude of ways to portray anger depending on what you're angry about and things like that. There are all kinds of different ways. I've literally been an actress for like over a decade of my life. And so, I'm not even talking about like when I was little, though I did do acting when I was younger, but in my adulthood, I have worked on sets and actively been an actor, and I am speaking from literal experience myself, as well as seeing many, many peers across years and years and years. There are multiple ways to express anger, and unfortunately he kind of seems to be leaning towards one a lot, which is that whole like, grr, I'm angry kind of approach. And there are a lot of different ways. Like there's like the silent anger, where you're just kind of like stewing, but there's something on your face, like there's an expression on your face. It can be very subtle. There's expressing anger in like reactions that aren't just like, you know, being huffy and gruffy. There are lots of different ways. So I just felt like pointing that out. Next, I just wrote Layla ... enough said. I'm sorry, you guys. I feel like Regina George being like, stop trying to make such happen. But really, though, like, let her go. She happened. Unfortunately, she served whatever silly purpose she was meant to serve. And now we gotta move on. Okay? Okay. Elias still looks like a Twilight vampire to me. He definitely looks like Laurent. If Laurent ate animals, not people. Yeah. I just recently watched those two movies, the first couple. Wait, did we finish the second one? Maybe not, but I did watch the first one, and Laurent's in it. And I did watch the part of the second one where Laurent's in it, and like the guy who plays Elias 100% looks like Laurent. I know it's not him, but he very much does so. And then the fact that he kind of looks like a Twilight vampire in this kind of just drives that even more home. Oh yeah, Avienda becomes who Perrin rescues. So I pointed this out because in the book, it's Gaul. In the book, that kind of similar scenario happens with Gaul. So I don't even know if we'll get Gaul, which is kind of a bummer because I love Gaul, but yeah, there's that. Perrin speaks to Bornhald. Yes, we met Dane. And I actually really like the guy who's playing Dane. I really appreciate how he's playing him. I really appreciate that there's kind of like a softness to him, because to me in the books, there is that kind of like, and when I say softness, I don't mean soft as in you would think like a very feminine person is soft. I just mean like he's not so hard around the edges as say like somebody as Gawad and whatnot. And it's not necessarily that he's not hard around the edges, because he absolutely is. I mean, he's a fucking white cloak for all things. He's got softer edges than the harder men that we've met. And so I kind of appreciate, not even kind of, I appreciate the approach that they're taking with Dane. So that was really cool. More Moiraine, making her the villain, leaving that lady to face Lanfear. Yeah, I mean, that choice, honestly, I understood more than the horse. I feel like with both of those choices, it feels like, okay, we really just don't want to set ourselves very far into Moiraine is a good person. Like, we just don't. We don't care about that. That's how making both of those choices feels. If it had just been leaving that horse trader to die, because that was just kind of gonna be what would happen, unfortunately, sort of like, you know, sinking that man's ferry in the first book and in the first season, that I get. So the fact that we included both just kind of made that second one, like, it made me less inclined to understand what she was trying to do as an audience member. And that's really unfortunate, because that's really not like Moiraine as a character's fault. That is these writers that just really love to throw in things and then contradict themselves, and then throw in other things that are supposed to feed into the things that they added that ended up contradicting things, right? A little frustrating, to say the least. Varen and the Brown sisters reunion is very cute. I appreciated it. I appreciated that we kind of got the vibe for what the Browns are like, how they're a little bit more sneaky. And when I say sneaky, they're just kind of very, how do I put this? They have a goal, and their strategies of getting to that goal are a lot more roundabout than the strategies of, say, the red Aja or even the blue Aja. Without being whites or grays, they just seem a lot more diplomatic, but like on a lower level, in the sense that even the mundane interactions, they are kind of consistently seeping knowledge from those things and being way more observant than people probably think Browns are. And it's kind of interesting because there is this sort of running perception of the brown Aja that, you know, they're always in their libraries reading, always in their, you know, with their noses in their books, kind of like studying and doing all that, not super fully paying attention to the outside world. But then, of course, our favorite brown, we get Varen, and the little bits of her perception and her perspective in the books that we do get, you become aware of the fact very quickly that she is aware of what's going on. She does see way more than she lets on. And I kind of enjoy how just very subtly that was included with how the Browns did things, right? Like Varen having her brown sister go into Shiriam's office and like copy down what's in her notes while Shiriam was showing her a book, right? Things of that sort. I thought that that was fun. Leandrin recruiting Nynaeve for the Black Aja. I just said, okay, in all caps. Why was that scene fully necessary? Was that scene the motivation for Leandrin to then free them from their reigns when they got to Suroth? Because if that's the case, like, okay, do I feel like that motivation could have been given in a better way? Sure, yeah. But if that's its purpose, okay, fine. If that's not its purpose, if the purpose was to drive home the fact that Leandrin's Black Aja, she literally betrayed these girls and are about to trade them in to be like trafficked as one power wielding machines, one power wielding dogs, basically. Pretty sure she's proved she's Black Aja, right? So I'm hoping the reason we included that was because Leandrin was going to need a little bit of persuasion before she would feel bad enough in order to let the girls' reins go before she went back through the waves. I will give them the benefit of the doubt here. And you see how my body literally didn't want to say that? But no, for real, I don't know. I have no idea what their reasoning was. I'm hoping it was the first one. Okay. This one is a little bit of piggyback from before, in my notes before, where I was talking about how the Shan-Chan are just openly working with Ishamael. Now, we got more insight into why Ishamael has kind of infiltrated the Shan-Chan, and they have no idea that he is who he is. I'm just wondering how long they plan on making this last. I mean, obviously, Turok is, you know, by this point, because I've seen all the episodes and they're all melded together in my head right now, by this point, he's already gone. So I guess there's not really many people who would be privy to the information that Ishamael is who he is. And I guess Ishamael himself is also gone, right? Like, they're going, and okay, this is a conversation for episode 8. Regardless, I guess it doesn't matter. Just reminded myself, doesn't matter. But I wrote here, just so the Shan-Chan fight the dark but work openly with Ishamael. Which, they didn't know that they were working with the ultimate Dark Friend, right? Dark Friend Suroth to Dark Lord relationship was kind of interesting. Obviously, that I'm talking Suroth with Ishamael. It was interesting. It was a bit telling. The actress who's playing Suroth, I think she's doing a good job. What's kind of killing me though is the fact that the accents aren't really a thing. Like, if anything, I feel like some of them have an accent, like Rena, Egwene's, Soldom has kind of an accent, but I don't know. I just feel like they should have done away with the accents, especially because they went so ham on, like, their visuals and their makeup, you know, and all of that. I just feel like they could have done away with the accent, and then that way we wouldn't have had so many different people from the Shan speaking in so many different kind of dialects that you can't quite. They don't all sound like they came from the same place, let's put it like that. Okay, this one's like a warning. Better not be an Aviendha and Perrin romance, because I'm just kind of sniffing that on the horizon, and I just hope not, but yeah, okay, at this point, who cares? The Aiel intro was kind of cool. Veiling of the face and all that. They took out a lot of white cloaks. That was pretty sick. And then at one point I go, did Perrin pick up an axe? Nope. That's coming though. There was a goofy zoom out. Oh, yeah. Like, I think it was in the Dance of the Spears. And I did like the whole, like, do you dance Perrin Abara from Aviendha. I thought that was chill. The chick who's playing her is doing a really good job, so I do appreciate that. But there was a goofy zoom out during that, like, fight scene that kind of took me out a little bit. Yes, Tel'aran'rhiod is dangerous, but not sleeping is more dangerous. Oh my god, Moiraine. Like, this isn't even an oh my god Moiraine though. This is a oh my god show writers. Like, what the hell are you guys, like, what? So now the plan is to keep Rand awake 24/7? Like, even in the books we knew that that was not possible. Right? So why even have that line? Like, why? Why even have that line? Again, like, it just feels like there was a more interesting way of us making Tel'aran'rhiod, like, a dangerous place. There was a more interesting way of creating fear on the fact that, he, you know, Lanfear would be waiting for him there, instead of just to tell him not to sleep. Like, I don't know. It just seemed really silly, especially because you're trying to keep him from going mad. Do you really think that something like not sleeping is gonna help with that? People go mad, like, without the one power when they are sleep deprived. Do you really want a dragon reborn who is sleep deprived and doesn't fully know how to, like, wield the one power? Like, I just, anyways. Oh, I just wrote shade on Vare, because Vare, like, shades her in that scene and she brings Rand home, which, well deserved, man, well deserved. Oh yeah, and then I wrote, so Moiraine can be cordial, right, because she ends up being cordial with Barthanes, which is her nephew. Just wrote that to be sassy. Okay, so Varen being aloof was very exciting. Yeah, that was, like, really, really exciting. The fact that she is obviously, like I said before, putting out this, like, energy of, oh, I don't fully know what's going on, but you can see that she does fully know what's going on. The whole, like, you know, ushering Shiriam out about the book so her fellow sister could get in there and get to Shiriam's notes. Oh my god. Yeah, I wrote for some reason, yep, Shiriam's office is big enough for a meeting. Apparently I really had to go back to that. So Sneaky Varen and company. Oh, I said tremor in notation, right? Because the fellow brown sister points out to Varen, like, could this tremor in notation mean anything? And that's just, like, such a brown Aja thing to notice. I just loved it. Compulsion. I actually hadn't thought about that. So I was like, wow, that's actually really, really interesting. And this was an interesting intro to the Black Aja in the tower. Also, what I thought this was really interesting for those of us that have read the books, this kind of feels like the beginning of the makings of Varen's list. So that's kind of cool. So Liandrin trying to have the high ground when delivering women who channeled to the effing Shanche. Like, Liandrin just can't stop, won't stop. trying to be a better person than she actually is capable of being in this thing. Like, I'm sorry, what? At least she like unshields and unravels Nynaeve's bindings, so there's that. And then I said, go Elaine and Egwene! And then poor Egwene, but yay for the storyline, because now we're actually, you know, on track for Egwene to have her hardships that like really push her ability to channel, right, to really high degrees. It's kind of so shitty because she essentially gets the validation she was looking for in the tower, like via being a demone, but it's like all kinds of twisted and fucked up, because obviously being a demone is not ideal in any way, shape, or form. Like, and the way that we'll get into it as the episodes progress, but the way that they showed it in the show, right? Like Rena just being so like, you're so strong, you're one of the best there'll ever be, but also, you're not a person. Wild. But yeah, I was happy for the storyline that we are going there. Yes, for the Aiel love, I do appreciate the Aiel lore and everything that we're getting. Giotto, she has Toll towards Perrin, right, because he saved her, and in that moment I'm like, okay, yeah, so they've basically like replaced her with Gaul, or replaced Gaul with her. Oh my god, next I just wrote, okay, lover jokes, Avi. I'm telling you guys, I sniff at least some flirting between these two, and we already see that happening, do we not? Okay, we see Elaine's training in action, meaning her like royal training, right? Her telling Nynaeve to like keep it down and not draw attention to themselves, like her being aware of the fact that like these soldiers are not from this land, all those things. And then of course Nynaeve being difficult because that's what she has to do. And I'm not even saying that like with any shade. That is exactly what Nynaeve would do, and I appreciate them for keeping her consistent. Okay, next question was, oh my god, who knocked out Nye and Elaine? We obviously find out who it is later, so we'll get to that. Varen being Varen makes me happy and gives me hope. Liandrin telling on herself to Varen, very funny. Oh, so good, such a good moment. Varen playing her little aloof self, and Liandrin just being so concerned with her own little black Aja agenda that she doesn't even realize how much information she actually gives Varen. Anver being more mature than Moiraine is honestly hilarious. Finally, humanity from Moiraine. What will they do with it, I asked. The moment for Moiraine and sweet moment for Moiraine and Anver. Moiraine realized something though. Next we get like bob hair Lanfear, which I thought was kind of interesting. She just, I don't know, the whole like the get-ups she's been wearing in the dream, I get it. It's the dream world. It's supposed to be different, malleable, all that junk. You know, not confining with the norms of the time, potentially, things like that. I don't understand, like, full-on bringing designs into the world that are so different from the actual world that it's distracting. Like, I love that dress that she is wearing when she finally ends up with Rand at the end of this episode, right, in Tel'aran'rhiod. But it is so wildly uncharacteristic of anything that we've seen in the show that it genuinely, like, takes me out a little bit. So this is one of those moments with Lanfear's like weird bob that looked like it was tucked into her shirt. Intro to the Forsaken. Felt well done and not too expository. So basically when Lanfear and Ishamael are talking, and you know, Lanfear has that moment where she talks about like Grindal and Moghedien, and then she says like the boys, which I tried to think of like who the boys are, which I guess there's Osmodian, and then there's Damandred, and then I feel like maybe there's one more that I'm missing, but maybe I'm not. I don't know. I feel like there is, though. Y'all can sound off in the comments. Let me know who the boys was referring to. The whole Matt being born mine thing from Ishamael, don't love that, especially because, you know, he's gonna be gone anyway come the end of the season, but Ishamael, not Matt. But anyway, that just felt unnecessary. And again, like, they're just really trying to hammer this whole, like, Matt's evil thing, and there are moments in subsequent episodes that I just go, ugh, with Matt's storyline, so we will get there. Not today, but soon. Okay, so Perrin will become more wolf than man. Like, I get it. These are the concerns that Perrin had for himself in the books, right? These are valid concerns that he had for himself via experiences that he witnessed and things like that. To just, like, throw in these little things without giving us more explanation into the Wolf Brothers stuff just to me feels... Again, guys, you guys could have used time to insert a line of dialogue that actually, like, felt like it did something, instead of just try to essentially insert this impending doom on characters, on parents' plotline that they don't even fully explain. So as an audience member who's never read the books, you don't even have the full capacity to understand. So yeah, it just Oh yeah, Ishii playing Shan-chan politics was cute. Very cute, groveling to Turok. Nye and Elaine saved by the yellows. I liked it. Raima and Basan, I think was his name. Did we really need the she must be tamed line between Rena and Egwene? Or not Rena, between... I don't even know who said it, but it was very clear that that is what the Shan-chan thinks. So for, like, there to be a line and make it so heavy-handed that, oh, she must be tamed, just kind of felt like overkill to me. So cool Adam visual, but you're literally showing me that the goofy-ass mouthpiece is optional. And when I say optional, I don't mean, like, obviously the Shan-chan make the active Damane use that stupid mouthpiece, which I don't know how they're not consistently salivating. Anybody who's played, like, a wind instrument knows there's a spit stick for a reason. So when you have something in your mouth salivates. The fact that those bitches aren't drooling all the time, please show me that design. Is it a pacifier? Anyway, and when I say pacifier, like a literal baby pacifier, like, is that why they're not salivating all the time? Because they're consistently, like, sucking on it? I don't know. It's weird to me. But when I say it's optional, I obviously understand that the active Damane wear that thing and it's not a choice. However, I was over here thinking, so it's not optional in that way. Yes, I get that. But it is optional in the way that it is not an inherent part of the Adam. Meaning, it does not require that mouthpiece to function. So why did fucking production design and art department think it was a good idea anyway? Egwene ends up having to spit it out at times, which, like, sure, adds effect. Okay. Which, sure, adds an effect. But you know what would also add an effect? A close-up on Elaine's face and us visibly seeing how much she wants to break the rules and say something and say no. That would have probably an even deeper effect because we would spend a little more time with her reaction instead of just getting to look at her with that stupid thing in her mouth and then watch her go, no. One feels very melodramatic. Hint, hint, it's the one where you spit out the unnecessary mouthpiece. So yeah, that made me really mad that now we see that, oh, cool, the Adam, I will give it to them. Really interesting design. Love how it retracts on itself. It is a terangrial, so that totally makes sense. Loved all of that. Hate the fact that these goddamn mouthpieces are still a thing. Hate the fact that we really had to go overboard with that. Hate the fact that it sabotaged really good scenes where we could have just relied on good old-fashioned acting. Like, yeah, okay. At least we get some real Moiraine and her actually working with someone instead of against them. I did appreciate that about when she kind of finally decided to like a little bit work with Rand. I understand that their relationship is meant to be difficult from the get and things like that. I just feel that the way that these writers are writing Moiraine, they're making it more difficult than it has to be. And it's not vibing too hard for me. Literally said this. Love Lanfear's outfit, but it feels really out of place. The black one, you know the one I'm talking about. And then lastly, this is kind of like a callback to the moment where Lanfear kills that horse trader. The fact that she sewed her mouth shut was a little interesting to me. I actually think that Nameless on YouTube also mentioned this, but it just kind of effed with the magic system a little bit. Like they weave the elements. For the whole sewing thing to have happen, I don't know which elements we would have weaved to get that out of pure magic. I understand you can weave certain elements to probably, create things, maybe textiles, like stuff like that. And maybe, sure, you could create some string, but that's like a whole different process than the actually using it to, sew up someone's mouth. So it just felt like really, oh, here guys, let's just do this thing to make Lanfear look super creepy, and didn't really think too hard about the effect on the magic system and how, even though Lanfear is a Forsaken, she's still using, as far as we know, the same one power as the other females in the show. And for that moment to happen, to me, it just kind of like made me question, like, okay, well, how did she do that? Like, if those were weaves of air, then the second she let go of that weave, her mouth would have been free, right? So she could have suffocated her, but it wouldn't have looked like that. Obviously couldn't make like a thread of fire. Obviously don't know how a thread of earth would work. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't like that part. All in all, those are all my notes. Really not much that I enjoyed on a very deep level here, aside from like the Brown Aja stuff. And I did appreciate that Egwene's storyline really is going in the route that it is going. In spite the fact that I deeply feel for Egwene, and this was actually some of the hardest shit for me to read. But I do appreciate the fact that it's going there. And yeah, man, like, I'll give it to them. It's more interesting. It's a little better. But when you're working with something that was virtually unworkable, you making it work doesn't make you or the thing that you're doing ultimately really work. It just works better than the unworkable thing you had before. And that's kind of just where I'm at with it. At least as far as this episode is concerned. You will be getting the next couple, or rather the next few episodes, so hang tight. I really appreciate y'all's patience with me on this. And on the other side of that, I should say, I also really appreciate your guys' questions and, asking me when I'm gonna get it out and stuff like that. I appreciate that because it lets me know that you're interested. You guys are always really sweet about it too. So thank you so much. Like, Seriously, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you have reached this point of the video, please consider liking the video. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And please consider clicking that bell button because I do post regularly, but I don't post on a schedule. And I am going to start posting a lot more regularly now that I've got my work schedule kind of settling in and my life kind of organizing itself a little bit more. So that bell will be really helpful because I'll be posting more regularly and you'll want to know exactly when those videos land. If you would like to financially support me either through PayPal or Venmo, that info is in the description below. You can also financially support me by checking out my affiliates. There's 2 of them also in the description. Or you can also book a tarot reading. Or you can book a tarot reading, I should say. And that would be by emailing embodyingmysticalmac@gmail.com. Lastly, you can follow me on social media if that is your thing. I am pretty active on Instagram and I do have a TikTok. Those are both at @embodyingmysticalmac. I have a music Instagram, which is called @MacandTheMusic. And yeah, I've been really enjoying doing these. I'm like super tired right now. If I have bloodshot eyes or whatever, deeply apologize, but I really did want to get both the Little Mermaid video out as well as this episode 5 video out because I'm really grateful to be cultivating different audiences, and I know that I owed both of you guys, or rather both of you people, I should say, this content, and I really just wanted to get it to you. So yeah, don't look as fresh as I did for my Little Mermaid review, but I hope you guys appreciate it. I didn't use the shawl because, you know, I brought back the little jewel here, and frankly, it's kind of warm in here right now. But yeah, now I'm just rambling because I'm tired. Thank you. I appreciate you. Like, subscribe, bell, do all the things. Please do find me on social media and follow me there because I do some fun stuff over there. And I will catch you next time. Stay mystical, stay grounded, and I hope you always, always find water and shade. Mwah!